everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with you guys this beautiful Sunday morning. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to be doing more arts and crafts with you guys. So the first thing, or actually let me tell you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be making homemade finger paint. And the best part about this finger paint is that it's safe for if you have little ones who like to put stuff in their mouth and on their face. This is completely safe for them to, we don't want to say, hey, go ahead and eat it, but it's perfectly safe for them to, if they get it in their mouth, it's not toxic because there's only 3 ingredients that we're going to be using for our homemade finger paint. And that is flour, water, and food dye. Now, you guys have you should have food dye on your end. I personally didn't have time to get food dye from the store, so I'm using just regular, it's colorant. I got this from Michael's last week, so I'm using a colorant, but if you're using food dye is perfectly safe for kids. It's in cupcake frosting, cake frostings, and stuff like that, so no worries there. So it's only those 3 ingredients: the dye, the water, and the flour. So let's go ahead and get started making our finger paint. So I'm going to go ahead and lower this camera so you guys can see what I'm going to be working with here. Okay, so let me turn this a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pull out our flour. So let me just go ahead and run through all the supplies we're going to be using for the first part of our craft. So we're going to be using flour. You're going to need a measuring cup. You're going to need a bowl. You're going to need a muffin pan. You're going to need water. And you're also going to need a fork, something to stir this up with. If you only have a spoon is perfectly fine. I personally just like using forks more, just because we're using the flour, and flour and water can get a little bit thick when you mix it together. So I'm just going to grab a plastic fork, and I'm going to use a fork. The water that I'm using is actually warm water because I personally feel like the warm water mixes a little bit better with the flour. So if you don't have your water poured up yet, I do recommend using warm water for our homemade finger paints. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure out 1 cup of flour. So I have my measuring cup. It's already in my little flour container, and it is 1 cup. So I don't know if y'all can see, there's flour all over this thing, but it says 1 cup. So I'm just going to scoop out 1 cup of flour out of my bowl. Okay, and I'm going to take my flour and I'm just going to pour it over into my container, or my bowl, sorry. And that's how we're going to use the flour for. So I'm just going to turn around and set this off to the side, just to clear up some space. So the next thing you're going to do is pull out that pitcher of water, or a cup of water, and we're going to measure out 1 cup. Right here, you see on my little measuring cup where it might be a little bit harder for you to see, but it says 1 cup. I'm just going to pour enough water in my measuring cup until it touches the line that says 1 cup. Perfect. So that's all I'm going to use this pitcher for, so I'm just going to set this off to the side as well. And I'm going to pour this into my bowl and set the measuring cup off to the side because we're now done with that. So go ahead and grab your fork or spoon. If you have a little whisk, I think that's what it's called, that you usually stir up batters with. If you're using that, that's fine too, whatever you have. And just go ahead and just stir your mixture. And we're going to stir our mixture until it's all mixed together. We don't want to see any clumps of flour or any balls of flour and water mixed together. We want it all to be very, very smooth. We want to make sure that our batter is super, super smooth. And it might take a couple minutes to mix up, but that's okay because we really just want to make sure that we are doing a really good job mixing up our ingredients. So we have an awesome finger paint mixture, sorry. I remember the last time I was standing and doing arts and crafts with you guys, I was doing Play-Doh at this on the island in my kitchen. So my mind is somewhat in Play-Doh mode still because these are some of the ingredients we use to make our homemade Play-Doh, if you guys remember. So please bear with me if I accidentally say Play-Doh, just because my mind is still a little bit in Play-Doh mode, but I'm going to do my best to switch over to finger paint mode. So let's make sure we're mixing that up super, super well. And I'm just going to scrape around the bowl. Make sure that I'm getting it off the bottom of the bowl as well, because that flour sometimes does like to hang out at the bottom of the bowl. So just make sure that you're taking your whatever you're using to just get that flour up off the bowl and mix it with that water mixture that we have going right here. Okay, you guys. If you are watching, please say hi. Make sure you're liking the video, share the video, click the share button on the page just so other people can join in the fun. And I'm gonna just grab a paper towel right quick so I can lay my fork down. Okay, so we have our mixture, and I'm going to take my spoon because if you can see around the bowl, there are a couple of clumps around the bowl, and I'm just going to take my spoon and just kind of scrape that back into the mixture because I don't want any clumps in my bowl. I don't want any clumps. I want everything to be mixed together as best as possible. So our mixture is pretty much done. And I know it doesn't look like finger paint right now. It really doesn't. But we're going to get there. So just bear with me and pull out that muffin pan. So I am going to start scooping my mixture into the muffin pan. And I might need a bigger spoon for this, so I'm going to grab a bigger spoon. I have my bigger spoon right here, and I'm just going to take my spoon because this one was a little bit smaller than I had anticipated, and I'm just going to scoop it into the pan. And you're going to fill up each little muffin cup until it's about 3/4 of the way full. So you're going to leave a little bit of space at the top, if you look at your pinky and you see where that little line is on your pinky at the top, you're going to leave about that much space in your muffin cup. And we're going to fill up 6 muffin cups. We're not going to fill up the whole pan, just 6 cups, because with the colors that we're going to be using for our paintings, we're only going to use these 6 colors. So I'm going to keep going and pour that into my... Now, I will say that after I'm done with my finger paints, I do not reuse them. just because I don't really use finger paints for art projects. So I will essentially just pour mine out. But if you want to save your finger paints, the best way to save your finger paints is instead of using a muffin pan, you're going to grab some jars, like something that you might put baby food in, or something that baby food comes in, or like any kind of little jars that you have that have a lid on it. And you are going to just put your paints into 6 of those jars. Since we're using 6 colors, you would get 6 little jars and fill those up. That way you're able to store your paint and you can reuse it and pull it out whenever. And you don't have to refrigerate this. Just because it's only water and flour, there's no need to refrigerate your finger paints. But if you want to, that's perfectly okay. But it's just water and flour, so it's not like it'll spoil or sour or anything like that. So I'm going to keep pouring, scooping and pouring my mixture. Okay. All right, we do have a little bit of mixture left. If you want to keep your mixture and maybe do another color, then that's perfectly okay. But for the sake of this little project that we're going to be doing together, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to set it off to the side and I'm going to be done with this. So I'm going to grab a paper towel right quick and just kind of wipe off some of that little excess that splashed onto our pan, just to like keep it clean. I like a nice clean workspace, and I like for my things to look as clean as possible. Okay, so what we're going to do now is pull out those colors. If you have a usual box of food dye that you're able to buy from, say, Walmart or the grocery store or whatever grocery stores are located near you, then you more than likely have 4 colors in your box. You more than likely have a red, a yellow, a green, and a blue. The ones that I have are just red, yellow, and blue. And so I'm going to have to make a couple of extra colors by mixing, but that's perfectly okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this camera a little bit more, just so you guys can see me mixing up our colors. So the first thing we're going to do is just unscrew your lids. We have our blue, I have my red, yellow, and you probably have your green, but I do not have a green, so I'm going to make a green. But first I'm going to just drop a couple of these. Whoops, I actually can fit a little bit more of this in here, so I'm going to take a couple more scoops and put it in my little muffin cup. Okay, so I'm going to take about 5 drops and I'm going to drop it into this mixture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to do, instead of 5, just because yellow is such a light color, I'm going to do about 6 or 7 drops of the yellow. Just because I want my yellow to be really defined. So that was 1 drop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for good luck. And for my blue, I'm going to do 5 drops of blue over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. So now I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to mix up these colors. But first, let me grab a paper towel just to have for me to wipe off my spoon in between colors. So the first color I'm actually going to mix up is going to be yellow because that's the lightest color and I don't want to go from red to yellow in case I still have a little bit of red left on my spoon. And we're just going to stir that around. I'm going to add 2 more drops to my yellow just because it's still not as dark as I would like. Or let me do 3. Because it's not as dark as I would like. It might be as dark enough for you, but I like my yellow to be very defined and obvious. There we go. I like that yellow. I like it like this. A nice golden yellow color. Now that that one's mixed up, I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to wipe that off. Wipe off my spoon. And I'm going to move on to the red. And we're just going to take our spoon and mix that red. Are you guys able to see the colors? As I'm mixing, I'm going to add 3 more drops to my red mixture. And then I'm going to just in case, add like 3 more drops to my blue. Just to be on the safe side. I'd rather have too much color in there than not enough. Just taking that off of the edges. Whoops! I'm making such a mess. I love this. Beautiful. And now I'm going to mix, I'm going to wipe off my spoon again. And I'm going to mix up my blue. Beautiful. I love that. So let me just take let me mix it a little bit more. And I'm going to take my spoon and just wipe that blue off. So right now we have our red, our yellow, and our blue. And it looks so pretty on my end. Okay. So now we're going to mix up our next set of colors. So I'm going to first do, let's do 4 drops of red. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 drops of red right there. And I'm going to do 6 drops of yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So for our next color, I'm going to do, I'm going to grab that yellow again, and I'm going to grab my blue. I'm going to do 4 drops of blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to do 6 drops of yellow again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any guesses as to what colors these are going to make? I'm so excited. So next we're going to do 5 drops of red in this last cup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of red. And we're going to do 3 drops of blue. 1, 2, 3. Oh, a 4th one got in there. Let me do 1 more drop of red since I accidentally got an extra drop of blue in there. Okay. Any guesses as to what colors these are going to make? Comment below if you think you already know. So now we're going to mix these up. Okay, you guys. So we have, you can see, we have a red, a yellow, a blue, an orange, a green, and a purple. And oh my goodness, these are so pretty. I can't wait to take a picture so I can post it for you guys once we're done at the end. But what I'm going to do is just go ahead and screw my lids back on because we are now done making our finger paints. So I'm going to just screw these lids on right quick so I can set this extra stuff that we don't need off to the side now. Okay, so we have our paints all made. So now it's time to move on to part 2 of what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to flip everything around and we're going to have a seat. Okay, so our paints are all made up and they are so pretty. I wonder if you can see them better from this angle. It's a little bit hard to show just how pretty they are on the camera, but they are really pretty. And if you're making them with me, then you're able to see that. So go ahead and just start. We're going to pull out a couple more supplies now. We have our paints right here. I'm going to push the camera back a little bit. So we have our paints. Beautiful colors. I really like the colors. Oh, thanks you guys. So go ahead and have your paints ready. Pull out your paper. We're going to need a paintbrush, a marker, preferably a brown marker. If you don't have a brown marker, then that's okay. Just pull out whatever color marker you do have. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 sheets of paper out because we're going to paint 2 different things. But don't worry, they're super quick. And have those paper towels ready because this is finger painting. And finger painting can get very messy. So the first thing we're going to do is, with our first sheet of paper, I'm going to set my second sheet off to the side. And I'm going to just right quick scoot my paints out of the way because we're going to use the marker for this part. And we're going to draw a flower pot. And how we do that is we're going to first, and at the bottom of your page, look towards the middle of your page and draw a line. Just like that. And once you have your line, just draw, we're going to draw another, it's a bunch of lines that we're going to be doing. We're going to draw another line about the size, how we talked earlier about that line at the top of your pinky. It's going to be about that same size. And we're going to draw that same line on both sides of our little flower pot. Okay? So now you're going to draw that same, it's a lot of lines, I'm telling you. That same length, you're going to draw a line going towards the inside of your page on both sides. So it's about the same length, a little bit, maybe a little bit shorter than your pinky from that line at the top of your pinky up, just a little bit shorter than that. We're going to draw those lines going towards the inside of your page. And then this part's the easy part. We're going to draw a box. And the box is just going to go down like we're just drawing a regular old square. So draw a line going down on both sides, down to the bottom of your page, but not to the very end, okay? And then you're going to close your box. And now we're going to color our box in. So maybe you're using a different color instead of brown, or maybe you are using brown. You don't have to color your flower pot in just like I am. Maybe you want to do a design on yours or something cool like that. I am just going to color mine in, but if you want to do anything super cool with yours, then by all means. And we're just going to color our whole box or our whole flower pot in. Okay, now that our flower pots are all colored in, we're going to go ahead and close up those markers, and we're going to be done with the markers like completely. And we're going to pull those paints out. And this is where your paintbrush comes in, and I do recommend having your paper towels off to the side and ready to use because you're definitely going to need to use them for this next part. So I'm going to have my paper towels off to the side, a little one, and then I'm going to have a bigger sheet. So if you see me reaching off to the side, it's because I'm going to be wiping stuff off. So what we're going to do is grab that paintbrush and you're going to paint your hand. Now, because this mixture is literally just flour and water, it is going to be a little bit more challenging to get that to get this stuff to actually go onto your hand the same way an actual finger paint you buy at the store would. But it's okay because we're going to get through it and we're going to make it super pretty and we're going to make it work together. Because it's going to turn out really pretty, I promise. So just paint that hand green. And I am keeping the palm of my hand closed just so that no paint runs out of my hand through the cracks of my fingers and stuff. And let me grab my paper towel actually so I can do all this over my paper towel just because it will make a mess. Okay. And it's not going to, again, it's not going to look as smooth and as evenly on your hand as it would if this was like a finger paint out of the store, but it will work. And whenever we're done, whenever we have these blank spaces, all we have to do is just take our paintbrush and go back over the white spaces on our page. Okay, so, whoops, I got some running down my hands and onto my page. Oh no. Okay, so you're going to take your hand and you're just going to lay it flat above your flower pot, just like this. So it didn't go on as smooth, but it's okay because I can see which spaces need more paint. And so for me, that's my fingers, the finger spaces. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to paint my fingers a little bit more. And I am going to lay it down again and just like push those fingers down. Awesome. So I'm going to just take my paper towel and I'm going to wipe all of this off of my hand as best as I can. So grab that paintbrush and you can just go back over those spaces that are a little bit more white. And this is the only time we're going to really use our paintbrush. So once we're done with our going over our hands again, you can just put your paintbrush off to the side because we won't really need it again. Okay, so I'm wrapping up, just filling in all my white spaces. And I'm almost done. I'm just getting the bottom a little bit, and then I will be finished with that part. Okay, so I'm done with my paintbrush. I'm going to lay it off to the side. And this is where our finger painting magic is going to happen. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Dip that thumb in your yellow paint, and you're going to give a dot. You're just going to put your thumb on your page right above every single fingertip that we have on our page. So just a thumbprint there, a thumbprint here, thumbprint here, thumbprint here, and a thumbprint here. And you can wipe your thumb off when you're done with that. And wait 1 minute. Give me wait 1 minute and dip that finger in your red. And you're going to put about 6 or 7 dots all the way around your yellow thumbprint. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Then you're going to go to the other side with that same finger, and you're going to do the same thing again. Put a couple of dots all the way around your thumbprint. Okay, and now I'm going to wipe that finger off. And I'm going to dip that finger now into my blue. Okay? And I'm going to put dots. I'm going to start back over here, and I'm going to put dots around that next thumbprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to give a little one over here. Okay. Now I'm going to dip my finger into my orange. My orange mixture. And I'm going to put some dots around the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a little bit harder to put dots all the way around the middle fingers just because they're a little bit closer together, but it's okay. If you can't put them all the way around, it'll be okay. So for our last little one, we're going to do purple. So I'm going to dip my finger in the purple, turn my page a little bit, and I'm going to give some dots. Okay. And this is what our final product looks like. It's a little cactus. You guys did such a great job with this. Okay, so moving on to our last art little project. We're going to paint a little pineapple. So I'm going to slide my little cactus off to the side, and I'm going to grab my page. And what we're going to do for this part, you can do whatever colors you want to do. I personally like the way that blues and purples look together. If you don't want to do blues and purples, and maybe you want to do like yellows and oranges, or orange and red, or something like that, that's completely fine. But for this, I like the blue and the purple together, so that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is going to be a lot of thumb work. So we're going to work a lot with finger painting with our thumbs here. So dip that thumb into your purple, and we're going to do, like, not at the very top of the page, but if you were to fold your page into, we'll say, 4 little sections, it would be the second section, okay? So about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 finger walks down. We're going to dip our thumb in that purple, and we're going to do 3 thumb prints right beside each other, okay? So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go back over it. So 3 thumb prints. And now we're going to do 5 thumb prints below that. And I'm going to do blue for the next row. Whoops, it's running down my thumb. All right. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'm going to dip my thumb in the purple, and I'm going to go over that with some purple. So I'm going to go back over those 5 thumb prints with some purple. Just because I like mixing the colors. If you don't like mixing, then that's okay, but I do like mixing them. And we're going to do 2 more rows of 5 dots. So we're going to do what we just did 2 more times, okay? So you can do the same colors like we just did, or maybe if you want to switch it up a little bit, that's okay too. I'm going to dip back into the blue again, and I'm going to do, whoops, I'm getting it everywhere. I'm such a mess maker, you guys, but it's okay. I'm going to just take my paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe it off, and it'll wipe off fine. See? Voila. And I'm going to get some more paper towel. So I'm dipping, and we're going to do 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 4, 5. And we're going to do that again, and I'm going to use purple this time. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to take the blue, and I'm going to go right back over that. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to do 4 right below this. So I'm going to grab a paper towel. We're going to do 4 thumb prints below this row. So I'm going to switch it. I'm going to do yellow this time. So I'm going to do 4 thumb prints in yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go back over that. Got a little bit on the page, but I'm gonna just wipe it right off. And I'm gonna do orange to go on top of that yellow row that I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna do that for the bottom row. So we're gonna do 3 dots or 3 thumbprints on the bottom row this time to finish us off, okay? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna dip in the yellow a little bit, put some yellow in there, and I'm actually gonna dip in the red just to get a little bit of red. So this is what we have so far. It just looks like a bunch of dots, but we are about to add some lines. So you can use whatever colors you want for this part. Me personally, I'm going to use some red, and I'm going to do a line going across the top, right over those 3 dots that we have at the very top. I'm just going to do a line. Finger paint a line. And then I'm going to do another line on top of that. Well, it's going to be less of one long line. This time I'm going to do a line that sticks out towards the corner of my page. So like this. A line that points towards the corner of my page. And then I'm going to do another line that points towards this corner of my page. And I'm going to connect the two by drawing a line in between them. And then I'm going to finish by doing another set of lines going towards the corners of my page once again. And then I'm going to go back over all these colors with some more colors. So I'm going to do a little bit of orange. And then I'm going to take some yellow and I'm going to go right back over all these colors again. Okay. And I'm just adding a little bit more finger paint just to kind of fill in how I drew a line that connected each set of lines. I'm doing that same thing for the top 2 lines of my little pineapple. And I'm all done with it now, you guys. So we have our finger painted pineapple and our finger painted / paintbrush little cactus. And you guys did such a great job with all this. If you guys got to make one or you are going to, make sure you drop a picture in the comments. And I had so much fun doing this with you guys. Remember, if you want to save this, just kind of, because mine's already in a muffin pan, if I was going to save this, but I'm not going to, but if I was, I would just get little jars like what you put baby food in or something like that and just kind of scoop it into the jar. And then you can save the jars, and because there's nothing that will spoil in this, you don't have to worry about refrigerating it or anything. But I had so much fun doing these arts and crafts with you guys, and I am so happy that you guys joined me. So this is what, well, once they're all dry, this is what they're going to look like. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making this with you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to doing more arts and crafts with you guys next week. Make sure that you tune back in every day, because we have super fun activities going on every day, all day, except for on Saturdays. And so make sure you join us, comment, like, and share our videos, because we just love spreading the joy of fun with you guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys next time. And until then, take care. Bye.